My child, listen to me now, for I am speaking directly to the deepest places of your heart, and I want you to receive every word as a gentle embrace wrapped in eternal truth. For you have wandered through storms that tried to silence your hope, and you have carried questions that weighed heavily on your spirit. Yet here you are, still reaching, still searching, still longing for me, and that alone brings joy to heaven. My beloved, do not click away, do not turn your eyes from me, for these moments, these quiet, tender moments when your heart softens enough to hear me, are precious beyond measure, and I want you to know that no act of faith, no matter how small it may seem to you, goes unnoticed. When you whisper a prayer through trembling lips, I hear it. When you choose kindness even when you feel empty, I see it. When you fight through your doubts just to believe that I am here, heaven celebrates it. My child, I have watched you walk with burdens you never spoke aloud. I have seen the silent tears that stained your pillow. I have witnessed the battles that raged in your mind, and still I have stood beside you, holding you with a love that does not weaken, does not fade, and does not change. My heart aches when yours aches, my arms move toward you when you feel like falling, and my grace surrounds you even when you feel unworthy of it. I know the days when you wake up feeling drained, the nights when your thoughts grow loud, the moments when you look at your future and fear creeps in like a shadow. But my child, you are never facing these things alone. I am here, whispering strength into your spirit, planting courage in your soul, shaping purpose out of the very things you thought would break you. Trust me even when the path feels unclear, for I am working in ways you cannot yet see. Trust me when you feel tired, for I am giving you rest. Trust me when you feel weak, for my power wraps around every fragile part of you. You may feel lost at times, but to me you are never lost. You are held, guided, and cherished beyond anything your human heart can fully grasp. I call you precious, I call you chosen, I call you mine. When you step forward in faith, even shakily, it shakes the ground of darkness. When you choose love over bitterness, it echoes in eternity. When you surrender your fears into my hands, I sculpt them into testimonies of my faithfulness. Do not underestimate the beauty of your journey, for I am using every high and every low to shape you into someone radiant with strength, compassion, and wisdom. My child, I delight in you, not in some distant, cold way, but with the warm affection of a father who knows every detail of your soul. You are not a burden to me. You are not forgotten. You are not too broken, too late, or too flawed for my love to flood your life. In this very moment I am pouring peace over your anxious thoughts. I am lifting the heaviness from your chest. I am reminding you that your story is far from over. Walk with me, trust me, lean into me even when everything around you feels uncertain, for I will never abandon you, never reject you, never stop guiding you. My love is your shelter, my presence is your anchor, my voice is your compass. Keep coming to me, keep listening, keep believing in the quiet stirrings of faith within you, because I am turning your sorrow into strength, your setbacks into stepping stones, your fears into victories, and your scars into stories that will touch the hearts of others. My child, rest now in these words, for they are for you, not by accident, not by chance, because I love you with a love that has no ending, and I am with you now, tomorrow, and always. My child, hear me now, for I want these words to settle deep within you. I do not stand at a distance. I invade the darkness to drag you back into light. I am not a silent observer watching you struggle from afar, nor a distant figure waiting for you to fix yourself before I draw near. No, my beloved, when shadows creep around your mind, when fear squeezes your chest, when guilt whispers that you are unworthy, I move toward you with fierce and determined love. When you sink beneath the weight of your thoughts, I step into that very place, unafraid of the storm that surrounds you. I push past the lies that tell you you're alone, and I cut through the walls you've built to protect your wounded heart. I search for you the way light searches for cracks in the night, and I reach for you even when you feel too far gone to reach back. I have walked into the darkest corners of your life, not to condemn you, but to rescue you, to carry you, to remind you that no valley is too deep and no sorrow too heavy for my presence. When you hide your pain behind forced smiles and quiet sighs, I see the truth beneath, and I draw closer still. My child, I do not wait for perfect conditions to love you. I enter the chaos, the confusion, the pain you wish no one else could see. I do not hesitate, I do not hesitate, I do not hesitate, because you matter to me more than you can imagine. When tears blur your vision and you cannot see me, remember that I am the one who wipes them gently from your face. When your faith flickers like a weak flame, I shield it with my own hands so it will not die. When loneliness tries to strangle your hope, I whisper your name with a tenderness strong enough to break chains. I step into your darkness not as a judge, but as a savior who refuses to let you disappear into despair. I lift you, I pull you, I draw you close even when you feel unworthy of being held. I break through the heaviness around you, because my love is not passive. My love pursues, my love rescues, my love fights for you. And when you feel the weight of your past wrap around your soul like iron, I shatter its grip with a single touch. My child, understand this. I do not tolerate losing you to the shadows. I chase after the parts of you that feel broken beyond repair, and I breathe life where you thought nothing good could grow again. I walk into the darkness not because you are weak, but because you are worth fighting for, worth saving, worth loving endlessly. And every time the night tries to overcome you, I will step in again and again, invading the darkness with the full force of my grace, dragging you back into the radiant light of hope, healing, peace, and purpose. You are not alone, not abandoned, not forgotten. You are mine, and I will always come for you, even when you cannot come to me. The shepherd never forgets where even the smallest lamb has wandered, for his memory is not like human memory that fades with time or grows dim with distance. His awareness is constant, flowing like an endless stream that never dries up, never slows down, never overlooks even the faintest cry or softest footprint. Long before the lamb realizes it has strayed, long before fear rises in its chest, long before loneliness begins to settle like cold evening air, the shepherd already knows the precise direction it moved, the exact moment its courage faltered, and the reason its steps drifted away from the familiar path. He knows when the lamb's heart grew heavy, when the distractions of the world pulled it toward unfamiliar terrain, when the weight of sorrow made its legs tremble, and when uncertainty caused it to pause just long enough to lose its sense of direction. He remembers every ridge and valley the lamb once crossed, every place where it found joy, every spot where it felt overwhelmed, and every hidden corner where it sought comfort. He traces each movement not with frustration but with compassion deep enough to move mountains. Nothing about the wandering surprises him. Nothing makes him reconsider the value of the lamb. Nothing causes him to hesitate in going after the one that slipped from sight. With determination stronger than any storm, he steps into the rugged terrain, the thorn-filled places of guilt, the steep cliffs of fear, the tangled brush of confusion, driven not by obligation but by a love that refuses to give up. He listens for the softest rustle of a frightened heart, the faintest echo of a weary breath, the slightest tremor of a soul longing for safety but afraid to hope. And he searches tirelessly, knowing that every moment the lamb spends alone in the wilderness feels like an eternity to a fragile spirit. He searches through midnight darkness and early morning haze, across landscapes of doubt and fields of forgotten dreams, because no distance is too far, no effort too great, no shadow too thick for the shepherd who treasures even the smallest life. When he finally finds the trembling lamb tucked away in fear, he kneels down with tenderness that breaks every chain of shame. He does not approach with a harsh voice or accusing gaze. Instead, he draws near with quiet gentleness, offering warmth in the cold, comfort in the fear, and rest in the exhaustion. He reaches out with hands that have carried countless wounded souls, and he lifts the lamb into an embrace that communicates without words. You still belong. You are still loved. You have never been forgotten. He steadies the lamb's heartbeat with his own, letting peace flow through the cracks where fear once lived. And with unwavering patience, he carries the lamb back toward safety, taking the long path if needed, adjusting his pace, so the frightened heart can heal without being rushed. He shelters and shields, guiding the return with a devotion deeper than oceans and gentler than dawn's first light. Even when the lamb finally rests within the safety of the fold, the shepherd continues watching, continues guarding, continues remembering. He pays attention to every shift of the wind, every change in the night, every possible danger that could threaten even one small life. For the shepherd's heart is never divided, it is never distracted, it is never indifferent. He knows each lamb by name, by heartbeat, by story, and the truth stands unshaken. No matter how far a soul wanders, the shepherd's memory reaches farther. No matter how lost one feels, the shepherd's love searches deeper. No matter how faint the cry, the shepherd hears it. He never loses track, never grows weary, never stops pursuing. He remembers, he rescues, he restores, and he never forgets where even the smallest lamb has wandered. I will chase you down in the storm, overturning every obstacle in my path. Hear the promise not as a distant slogan, but as a living pursuit that reaches into the very tremor of your breath. I will not wait politely at the edge while the winds howl. I will run through the thunder for you, charging into the chaos with a heart that refuses to abandon even the smallest flicker of hope. When waves rise and the sky darkens, when fear pounds like rain against the windows of your soul, I move forward. I step into the gale with purpose, with relentless determination, with hands stretched out to grab hold of whatever is dragging you under. Every barrier that stands between you and the peace meant for you, every wall of doubt, every barricade of shame, every mountain of past mistakes, I will meet and I will overturn. I do not bargain with the storm or whisper from afar. I wade in, I wrestle, I throw myself between you and the power that would harm you, and I will not be distracted until you are safe. In the dark of night, when the heart whispers that escape is impossible, remember that pursuit is my nature. Rescue is my response. I will hunt down the shortest route back to you. But if the path is blocked, I will clear it, uprooting fear, scattering lies, dislodging anything that keeps you bound. When grief pins you to one place and worry holds like iron chains, I come to break those links, to fling them aside like kindling, to carve a way through so light can return. Do not imagine my coming is neat and distant. It is messy, fierce, immediate. It is the kind of love that overturns tables to make a way, that topples thrones of despair to set a single heart free. I know the exact weight of what burdens you, the precise shape of the stones you carry, the very names you have carved into silence. This knowledge fuels my pursuit. I will chase the part of you that thought itself lost. I will chase the part of you that hid in shame. I will chase the trembling part of your faith until it stands and breathes again. Every obstacle has a limit. My resolve does not. If fear builds a fortress, I will storm it. If regret forms a labyrinth, I will map every turn and carry you out. If loneliness sits like an unmovable boulder, I will roll it away with hands that will not tire. The storm will not be a final verdict, but a battleground where my love fights for rescue, where my power interrupts pain, where my presence overturns what you believed unchangeable. When panic rises and logic fails, when strategies crumble and human help falls short, I arrive with a kind of courage that was forged in compassion and tempered by sacrifice. I arrive not merely to assist but to pursue until victory is secured. Do not mistake my gentleness for weakness. It is the same fierce tenderness that steps between blade and bone to protect. It is the tenderness that will not be satisfied until you stand upright and know you are safe. There will be moments, real and raw, when it seems like the elements are winning, when the sound of my footsteps is faint through the wind. In those moments, hold on to the fact that pursuit is already underway. I am nearer than your doubt, louder than your fear, deeper than your shame. I will overturn pride that would keep you from asking. I will overturn apathy that would let you drift. I will overturn habit that chains you to what hurts. I will chase you down across deserts of exhaustion, over cliffs of uncertainty, through forests of second-guessing, across seas of confusion, because nothing about your wandering is a surprise to me, and everything about you is worth the effort. When rescue takes the form of a whisper that steadies your heart, when it comes as a hand that lifts or a friend placed in your path, know that these are the instruments of that relentless pursuit. I use many means, and I will use any, to pull you back into the shelter of hope. There is no storm so vast that my purpose is defeated. There is no fortress so secure that my will is thwarted. I will not be content with partial victory. I will overturn every obstacle until restoration is full, until the peace intended for you rests firmly in your chest again. And when the last wave has been stilled and the path cleared, when breath returns steady and the sun edges back across the horizon, my work is not merely to have saved, but to have redeemed, to turn the very place of battle into the ground where strength grows, where testimony rises, where compassion is born from hardship. This pursuit changes more than circumstance. It changes the one pursued, healing fear into courage, turning woundedness into wisdom, remaking the story so that what began in storm becomes forever marked by deliverance. So when the night presses in, when the ship seems crippled, when the horizon is only rain and doubt, do not believe for 1 second that the chase has stopped. Believe that I am running, that I will confront every barrier, that I will overturn every obstacle in my path, and that I will not stop until the rescue cry is answered and your feet are back upon firm ground, steady, sure, and forever held. I will break through hell's gates to bring you home, and nothing will stop me. This is not a poetic exaggeration or a distant spiritual metaphor. It is a declaration forged in the very core of divine resolve, a vow sealed with unwavering love that refuses to surrender you to darkness, despair, or any force that rises to claim your soul. When shadows whisper that you are trapped, when your past chains you with accusations, when guilt builds walls thick enough to shut out hope, I do not pace outside waiting for permission to enter. I tear through the very thresholds that were meant to imprison you. The gates of hell are not barriers to me. They are doorways I break open with a power born of eternal compassion. Every lie that told you were unredeemable, every fear that insisted you were too far gone, every moment you believed you were unworthy of rescue, those are the very battlegrounds where my love fights hardest. I walk into the places that terrify you, not reluctantly, not cautiously, but with a ferocity rooted in the truth that you are worth every step of the journey. If darkness surrounds you, I walk straight into it. If despair tightens its grip, I pry its fingers loose one by one. If sorrow swallows your strength, I descend deeper still, searching through the rubble of your brokenness until my hands find yours. I am not intimidated by the depths of your pain, the mistakes you carry, or the scars you hide. I am not deterred by the noise of hopelessness or the storms that have tried to drown your voice. I do not turn away when you fall. I run toward the sound of your collapse with a passion that refuses to leave you lying on the ground. Hell itself could raise every gate, every chain, every weapon, and still it would not be enough to stop the force of my love moving toward you. I do not negotiate with the darkness, I confront it. I do not tiptoe around shame, I dismantle it. I do not accept loss, I pursue restoration with a fire unquenched by time, rejection, or resistance. When you wander into places that drain your spirit, when you stand on the edge of giving up, when the weight of life becomes too heavy to carry, I descend into that very place to lift you out. I break through not with quiet politeness, but with the thunder of one who will not lose what he loves. Every gate that tries to keep you bound, fear, addiction, despair, bitterness, self-hatred, falls before me. I dismantle the fortresses built around your heart. I destroy the lies that have tried to define you. I silence the voices that have declared you unworthy. I fight for you in realms you cannot see, in moments you forget you matter, in battles you don't know I've already won. My pursuit of you is relentless, rooted not in pity but in value, deep, immeasurable value. When I break through hell's gates, I do not emerge dragging you in shame. I carry you with a strength that wraps itself around your weakness and transforms it into resilience. I return with you held close, cradled in the safety of arms that will not let you go, restored by a love that has defeated every force that dared to claim you. And once I bring you home, I do not stand at the doorway waiting for you to earn your place. I welcome you with joy, with celebration, with a warmth that heals the coldest memories. I set you on steady ground, cleanse the wounds the darkness left behind, restore your breath, and remind you that your identity is anchored not in your wandering, but in my victory. Nothing will stop me, not the gates of hell, not the storms of life, not the weight of your past, not the frailty of your faith. I will break through every barrier to bring you home, again and again, for as long as breath fills your lungs and beyond. You are pursued, you are claimed, you are fought for by a love that cannot, will not, and shall not be defeated. Your worth is measured by the one who gave his life for you. This truth is not fragile or symbolic. It is a foundation carved into eternity itself, a declaration that does not shift when emotions change or when life bruises your confidence. Your value is not determined by your failures, by the opinions that wounded you, by the mistakes you regret, or by the standards of a world that changes its expectations every passing moment. Your worth is anchored in the heart of the one who stepped down from glory, who walked roads of dust, who endured rejection, agony, and death itself, not because you performed well, not because you were perfect, not because you earned it, but because love saw you and proclaimed you priceless. Every breath he took on earth carried the weight of a mission aimed at reaching you. Every miracle he performed revealed the depth of his compassion toward your fragile humanity. Every word he spoke carved truth into the atmosphere that still echoes over your life today. When he carried the cross, he carried your fears, your failures, your hidden hurts, your broken dreams. When he fell under the weight of everything that ever threatened to crush you. When he rose to rewrite your destiny, to give you a freedom you did not have to win and a dignity you did not have to manufacture. Your worth is not up for debate. It was sealed the moment he stretched his arms wide in a love that defied reason, a love that looked beyond your sin and saw your soul, a love that declared, "This one is mine, and I will pay any price to bring them home." You are not valuable because of what you produce. You are valuable because of who purchased you. You are not precious because the world approves. You are precious because heaven chose you. The scars in his hands are the permanent receipt of your worth, proof that nothing you do can erase the price already paid for you. Even on the days when you feel small, unwanted, or unseen, the cross stands as a monument louder than every insecurity. You matter. You matter enough for God himself to step into time, to feel pain, to bleed, to die, and to rise again with your name on his heart. No failure lowers your value, no rejection can revoke it, no circumstance can diminish it. When shame whispers lies about your identity, it trembles before the truth of the one who declared you worth his very life. You are not a burden, you are beloved. You are not forgotten, you are fiercely claimed. You are not an accident, you are intentionally crafted and eternally treasured. Your worth is measured not by earthly scales but by divine sacrifice, and that makes you immeasurably, unshakably, forever valuable. My mercy is not fragile, it crushes the verdicts spoken against you. Let this truth expand until it fills every corner of your heart, because my mercy is not a thin veil draped loosely over your mistakes, nor a delicate sentiment that trembles beneath the weight of your failures. My mercy is a force, holy, unbreakable, unstoppable, born from compassion deeper than oceans and stronger than the foundations of the earth. It does not simply overlook your past, it overturns it. It does not politely excuse your wrongs. It breaks the chains those wrongs tried to wrap around your soul. Every accusation that has ever been whispered against you, by others, by your own mind, by the enemy who profits from your shame, finds itself silenced beneath the power of mercy that refuses to bow to condemnation. My mercy does not crack under pressure. It does not hesitate when darkness roars. It advances like a tidal wave that sweeps away every lie that tried to define you, every label others placed on you, every scar you believed disqualified you. It crushes the verdicts of unworthy, unlovable, too broken, too late, beyond repair, pressing them under the weight of a love that has already paid the highest price for your freedom. My mercy enters the courtroom of your conscience not to negotiate but to override, not to soften your sentence but to erase it, not to calm your fear but to remove its root. Where shame once stood tall, my mercy tears its pillars down. Where guilt built walls around your spirit, my mercy reduces them to dust. Where regret carved deep grooves into your memory, my mercy pours healing into every wound until even the scars become testimonies of redemption rather than reminders of failure. And when the world tries to speak its judgments over you, when voices from your past attempt to resurrect old accusations, when people misunderstand you, when your own thoughts ring with self-condemnation, my mercy rises like a warrior with fire in its eyes and declares, no accusation stands where forgiveness has already won. There is no history too dark, no secret too heavy, no sin repeated, no failure too embarrassing for my mercy to confront and conquer. It does not retreat from the chaos inside you. It moves toward it. It does not recoil from the parts of your story you wish you could erase. It steps directly into those places with the intention to transform them. My mercy is not thin like paper. It is thick like armor, a shield that absorbs every fiery dart aimed at your identity. It does not waver when you struggle. It strengthens. It does not fade when you fall. It rises. It does not shrink when you doubt. It expands. And when the enemy stands before you with a list of accusations long enough to make you tremble, my mercy lays its hand across the parchment and the ink disappears, every accusation wiped clean, every charge nullified, every fault overruled by grace so powerful that even hell trembles before it. My mercy is not passive. It is aggressive in its protection of your destiny. It is not polite. It is relentless. It shatters the gavel of condemnation, breaks the chains of shame, dismantles the prisons built by fear, and ushers you out into a freedom secured by love, not performance. My mercy fights for you in moments when you feel too tired to fight for yourself. It surrounds you when you doubt your worth. It lifts you when you stumble. It restores dignity where you believed you had lost it forever. It gathers the broken fragments of your life and rebuilds them into something beautiful, something whole, something stronger than before. The verdicts spoken against you by others or by your own inner voice have no authority when my mercy enters the scene. This is the kind of mercy that rewrites stories, redefines identities, reclaims what was lost, and redeems what was shattered. This is the mercy that walks into the ruins and builds a sanctuary, that walks into the valley and brings resurrection, that walks into the battle and emerges victorious with your hand in mine. So understand this, my mercy is not fragile. It does not crack beneath the weight of your humanity. It does not crumble under the pressure of your past. It does not falter when confronted with your imperfections. It stands firm, unshakable, eternal, and every verdict spoken against you, every condemnation, every insult, every lie, every memory that tries to hold you captive, falls powerless beneath the crushing, restoring, unstoppable force of my mercy. The most powerful prayers are sometimes only a whisper, because there are moments when strength runs thin, when words collapse before they ever reach the tongue, when the heart trembles under weight too heavy to name, and all you can offer is the softest breath of longing, yet heaven bends low to hear it. A whisper born from desperation carries more honesty than 1,000 polished speeches. It rises not through eloquence, but through surrender. It is the cry of a soul that can no longer pretend to be strong, the quiet reaching of someone who has touched the limits of their own ability and finally admits, I need help. And that fragile whisper, barely audible to human ears, roars like thunder in the courts of eternity. The most powerful prayers are often whispered because whispers come from the deepest places, places where masks fall away, where pride is stripped off, where the heart speaks without performance, without pressure, without fear. Whispered prayers carry a rawness that heaven treasures, the trembling confession, the aching hope, the longing too deep for structured phrases. When you whisper, you are not trying to impress. You are simply trying to survive, and heaven responds to that authentic cry with overwhelming compassion. There are moments when a whisper is all that remains, when the mind is tired of fighting, when emotions feel tangled and heavy, when life's storms have drained your voice. Yet the whisper does not lose power in its softness. It gains power in its authenticity. Even a breath can move mountains when it is offered in faith. Sometimes the most sacred prayer is just a single word, help, stay, please, or even a wordless exhale that carries your pain, your longing, your surrender. These soft prayers travel farther than you think. They slip past the noise of the world, bypass the confusion of the mind, and go straight to the center of God's heart. Heaven does not require volume. Heaven responds to truth. Whispered prayers are powerful because they come from the place where your spirit speaks honestly, without filters, without forced bravery. They form in the quiet corners of midnight when tears soak the pillow and strength has dissolved. They rise in the moments when the future feels uncertain, when anxiety wraps around the chest, when hope seems fragile. And yet, these quiet offerings are met with divine attentiveness because whispered prayers say, I still believe even when belief feels weak. And it is precisely that small spark of faith, hidden inside a whisper that moves angels into motion and draws heaven into your moment. A whisper can shift the atmosphere of your heart. It can summon peace into chaos. It can open the door to comfort, clarity, courage, and healing. It can break chains shame tried to lock around you. It can silence the lies that screamed in your mind. It can call down strength when you have none left to give. Whispered prayers are not a sign of spiritual weakness, but a sign that the soul is reaching beyond itself toward the one who hears even the faintest sound. There are prayers spoken from hospital rooms, whispered through trembling lips because fear has stolen the voice. There are prayers murmured while sitting alone in a car, hands gripping the steering wheel as the heart begs for direction. There are whispers offered by someone standing in the shower trying to hide their tears, hoping no one notices how heavy life has become. There are bedtime whispers from souls who are exhausted from pretending they are okay. There are whispers breathed into loneliness, into heartbreak, into confusion, into regret, and every single one is heard. The power of a whisper is not in its volume, but in its vulnerability. It is a declaration of dependence, a quiet admission of need, a gentle turn toward hope even when you are afraid to hope again. Whispered prayers rise because they are real, and heaven responds because the one who listens does not measure sincerity by sound. He measures it by the heart that offers it. So never think your whisper is too small, too quiet, too weak, or too insignificant. Never believe that you must produce perfect words or strong declarations to be heard. Never assume that only bold prayers shake the heavens, because sometimes the prayer that shakes heaven the most is the one whispered through trembling breath, the one offered while fighting back tears, the one spoken not from strength but from absolute dependence. The whisper that escapes your lips in the middle of your struggle carries more power than you can understand, because it declares, I still turn toward hope. I still reach for the one who hears, and heaven hears, heaven responds, heaven moves. Yes, the most powerful prayers are sometimes only a whisper, men,